say something. Oh, there, right.
Oh. Hi, Mr. Hamill. My birthday is in 2 days, and I was wondering if you could sing happy birthday to me in the Joker voice.
Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday, dear
Lindsay.
Happy birthday to whatever you said. That other panel, someone said, do the Batman eulogy. At one of the cons, I did the eulogy from the man who killed Batman. And I started out, I said, you know what, I have to admit, I've forgotten the lines. I think I had them written down before, but who knows? Pull it up on your iPad and I'll do it. Next question. Yes, sir.
Right here. I think both of you are the top of where the Batman and the Joker should be.
Thank you.
Did you ever get any comments from Bob Kane himself?
Did you meet Bob? I don't think I. Miguel Ferrer and Bill Mumy are friends of mine, not through acting, although they're both wonderful actors, but because they were comic book collectors. And back in the day, I was collecting mostly Golden Age and Silver Age. I don't really anymore, but what happened was, I think it was Miguel Miguel was Rosemary Clooney and Miguel, Jose Ferrer's kid. So he knew everybody, and he arranged a dinner that we went over to at Bill Mooney's house. Get who was there? Bob and Elizabeth Kane, Jack Kirby and Roz, and Jerry Siegel and Joanne Siegel. Wow. Co-creator of Superman, and Joanne was the model for Lois Lane. I mean, for a comic book nerd, I was like, are you kidding me? I am so there. And it was great because it was a chance for us to really show our gratitude. You know, a lot of these old timers didn't realize what comic books would become. I mean, back in the day, I've talked to people that worked in those days. Joe Orlando, guys from the EC era. They said, oh my God, we were like one step above pornographers. I mean, I'd be on the subway with my portfolio, and they'd say, what do you do? He said, I'm an artist. And they'd say, what kind of art do you do? He would never admit he did comic art. He says, oh, I do commercial art. Because comic books were demonized in the 50s. You know the background, you know, the seduction of the innocent, the Comics Code. They wanted to blame juvenile delinquency on comic books. It's always something. Violent movies, rock and roll, fill in the blank, it's all that's the problem. But anyway, I thought, in terms of comic book history, this is as if Walt Disney and Max Fleischer and Walter Lantz were all in the same room together. It was just fantastic. What I thought was funny about Bob Kane was how similar he was to sort of a mix between Bruce Wayne and the Penguin. Because he had a blue blazer with the white ascot, and Jerry Siegel was just the most modest, quiet man. And Bob was just the opposite. He's downstairs in the basement talking about, I tell you about the time I made it with Marilyn Monroe. I knew that guy in high school where you go, if you're bragging about it, I bet you it never happened. I kept it in the thought bubble, of course. But it just seemed, and he was sort of like bullying Jerry, like back in the day, because Jerry got a horrible deal for Superman, you know, and then Bob's father was a lawyer, and he made sure that when he signed the contract, not only did he get a much better deal, but he was the first guy to get his name on created by Bob Kane, no matter who did the story. He made a logo of his, he really had that down. But, and Mooney's a really mild-mannered guy, but we were at the dinner table at one point, Bob looks over at Mooney and goes, hey, Bill, remember back in the day when Batman used to kick Lost in Space's ass? The ratings. He was talking about the Nielsen ratings. Now, Mooney's a really calm guy. Redhead. You saw all the blood drain out of his face. He said, Bob, Lost in Space was on the air before Batman premiered. And Lost in Space was on the air after Batman was canceled. Burn! And of course, it just, flew right right over Kane's head. He just went, you know, that penguin laugh. He was a really colorful character. And then my wife and I got to go out to dinner with him and Elizabeth later. And he was in his element, because now the movies had come back. You know, he was back on top like nobody's business. Elizabeth does a cameo in the Burton, the first Michael Keaton Batman.
We got a question. We got a question over here.
Hi, my name is Willie Porter. Mark, I was just wondering, you've played Luke Skywalker and then the Joker. I was just wondering what your favorite part about playing both of those characters is. And don't say kissing Leia.
What about kissing Leia?
You don't know how many jokes I've heard over the years. Dude, it's your sister, ick. No, listen, I mean, Luke came before Joker. But Luke and the Star Wars mythos, I had no idea what it was all about. Like I said, I was a big Batman fan as a kid and read the comic books. And that's probably why I was so afraid to play the Joker when they said, okay, now you got to do it. You know, because, again, how can you measure up to what people think? Sure, yes.
Yes, sir, over here. So here.
Hey, Mark.
Ray at the end of 7. No, I'm going to give the microphone to him. Yeah. I work in the theater and I have to go work the crowd. Those all the people in the slightly... Yeah. Are there lower prices on this end than here? Okay, well don't worry, I'm going to give you everything I have in direct proportion to the price that you pay. So, goodbye! And we're over here as well. Okay. Questions? No, I'm going to let this guy...
Are there any Batman Joker stories that you guys still want to adapt, like maybe Emperor Joker?
Any more that we want to do? Yeah.
Well, Mark is more than me. The story made.
Death in the Family.
Death in the Family.
What happens?
Okay, Kevin, Mark, over here. So, for most of the generation, you guys are the main voice that we listen to when we read our comics. It's like we'll hear your voice, we'll hear. How does that make you guys feel, knowing that it's your voices that we're hearing in our heads when we're reading the comics?
Well, it means the brainwashing worked. That's our plan all along. To brainwash an entire generation.
It's a great honor.
It's a huge honor. It's a huge honor.
Thank you. I've got one more question over here. You can stand up, baby?
You could have asked your question and had it answered by now. Come here. What's your question? Quick, get it.
So it's a kind of two-part for both of you.
You give him a mic and he'll never let go.
My name is Alan. I met you last year. You were awesome. I appreciate what you said to me. And
Thank you.
I the photo op. First question is for you, Kevin. When you guys were going Justice League Unlimited and you did this little piggy episode, how did you feel about singing?
How did I what?
How did you feel about singing at the end of that? Because
That was
really
how
awesome.
I feel about singing.
Oh my gosh.
Am I Blue? Because that was Andrea Romano's idea. She knows I love to sing. And if you go to my website, Real Kevin Conroy, I post songs on the website if you want to hear some more stuff. But I had never performed in a musical, really. And so she pitched that idea to Bruce Timm. And he said, well, how can Batman sing? That can't be done. They thought, wait a minute, Am I Blue? It's a perfect song. And then that situation where he's paying off a debt, basically. And he's in the situation where he has to. So it was a perfect situation. It was fun.
It was great. You did great.
Thank you so much.
We have a question over here.
And real quick for you, Mark. How was the camaraderie when you guys got back together for like a 6, 7, 8?
Oh,
in Star Wars.
That's a Star Wars question. Well, no. listen, it's so unexpected. That was the great thing, because we never thought we'd come back. I mean, I thought even if they do another trilogy, it's about all different characters, we won't be in it. And then George specifically told us, I'm not doing 7, 8, 9. I don't want to be doing these things in my 70s. When I get done with the prequels, that's it. So, like I say, it's like pulling out a pair of trousers out of the back of the closet and finding a $20 bill that you didn't know you had. It's more valuable. Yippee! Yeah, exactly. It's just money. Exactly. So it was really great. I mean, it was so much fun. It was so unexpected. And again, I mean, I've experienced so much. I mean, since the summer of 2012, it's just been one thing after another where you go, really? That's coming back? I mean, believe me. I watched The Flash because my buddy John Wesley Shipp and I did it back in the day, in the 90s. And so, and I watched every episode. I was watching with my daughter Chelsea. There she is, sitting on the floor. So I was familiar with the show, and he's wrongly accused of killing his wife. I mean, again, a great hook we didn't have in the 90s, where it's a thread that runs through all the episodes because, you know, draws you back, because in the pilot he's wrongly arrested for the murder of his wife. Anyway, so I'm watching this thing. My agent said, oh, they want you to do The Flash. And I'm thinking, well, I'm a contemporary of John, so I'll probably be a cellmate. I could be the warden. You know, who do they want me to play? She says, the trickster. Are you kidding me? I mean, it was dodgy getting into a one-piece spandex outfit 20 years ago. I'm not brave enough to do it now. So let's make it age appropriate. I said, I don't think that this can work, but I went in and I talked to those two guys, Greg Berlanti and Andrew Kreisberg, and they're brilliant. Look at the way they reinvented Archie. Who knew? Did you see that? It's like Twin Peaks or something. They've turned Archie and Betty and Veronica into this weird serial mystery show. I mean, it's got a murder, and the coolest guy in the whole town is Jughead. I love it. I mean, these guys have a way of reinventing stuff. So they said, no, we're not going to make you like you were in the 90s. And they really modified it for the new incarnation. Brilliant. So, yeah.
With the glasses right in front of me. You, yeah.
Are there any other comic characters that you guys would like to do together?
You should give us suggestions, because wouldn't it be fun if I played the protagonist and he were the villain in something else? Great stunt casting. From your lips to the casting director's ears.
But I think you were a victim. Mark, in terms of casting early in his career, I think he was a victim of his own good looks. Because you are a good looking guy, but as a young actor,
Yeah, I know.
you were a young leading man. And those young leading man roles are not as interesting.
No, and I was never really a leading man.
But you're a character actor.
I am, and I was in high school. I never played the lead. I always played the funny friend of the lead, and you know, in Kiss Me Kate, I was one of the gangsters. I wasn't, you know, Petruchio or any of those.
You're a character.
Well, what I'm saying is, I had to go to Broadway to get character parts. They let me do Elephant Man and Amadeus. Room Service, the sleazy producer. You know, Arian Hart was the character part. So I mean, that, you know, in animation, you're a character actor by definition, because the idea of a character actor is you disappear into the role so seamlessly that they forget it's Kevin Conroy, they forget it's Mark Hamill, it's Batman or it's Joker or whoever. And you know, in animation, they make that, so they facilitate that leap for you because they can't see you. It reminded me of using your imagination the way you would tell kids stories when they at bedtime, you know, because the lights would be out and it's theater of the mind and so forth. And for people like us that were born too late for radio, it's a fantastic experience. I mean, it really is, because you get cast with ears, not with eyes.
Yeah.
You know, you think I'm too short for a stormtrooper. I'm definitely too short to play the Joker. What is he, like 6'4" or something? He's like Jeff Goldblum size. But, yeah, I mean, again, I feel like that's what I love the best is character parts. So there you are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where are the lights?
Why don't you go to the people waiting in the aisle? Like, yeah, we can't see. It's like being in a police lineup, you know.
Hello. Oh, they're way over there. Way over there.
Oh, and
Start
right
running
there.
the show.
Go ahead.
Sweetheart, go ahead.
Excuse me.
No, I got the mic. Go ahead, sweetheart. Go ahead.
All right. This is a truly great honor to meet you guys here, and I have a question for Mark. Do you happen to recall a role you did in this game called Crash Bandicoot: The Wrath of Korga? You played this like elemental math named Pyro, and this game also had Tom Master Wilson and Arm Ernie in it.
I don't know what you're saying. I didn't hear that.
I'm sorry, he asked about the Crash Bandicoot character that you played.
Yeah. Did I do Crash Bandicoot? Listen, you know what happens in animation? You play a part, it takes them like 6 months to a year to animate it. Some person put a picture in front of me today from Powerpuff Girls. So I said, oh, that's cute. Oh, you want me to sign it? Why? She said, because you voiced that cat. Talk about short-term memory loss. I mean, I'm at the age now where I can't remember what I had for breakfast. Instead, she's asked me, yes, I did the Powerpuff Girls years ago, but they don't send you an email saying, oh, by the way, your episode's on Thursday.
No, you never.
No. So unless you really stay on top of it, they slip away from you, you know? I mean, somebody sent me a readout of the animated voices, and so did I do Crash Bandicoot? I don't know.
You did a character Pyro?
What's that?
Pyro. The character Pyro. Fire.
That was my character, Pyro?
Yes.
How was I? I'll believe it. Oh my gosh.
Okay, next question.
What is your favorite part of any of the Star Wars movies that you were in?
The part where I get cast as the Joker. Listen, you know what's so funny? Because we come to these cons and you guys just give us so much energy. It's really thrilling and it's moving in a way. Because I don't get this in my everyday life. You know, I mean, you come to my house, I don't have Star Wars pictures up over the walls or anything. And when you come in and realize the effect that you have on an audience, there's just so much energy and so much affection and love. I'm telling you, it's really moving in a way. It's like, you know, all our lives we've been trained to entertain people. That's what you do in show business. You're always trying to connect with the public and find a rapport with them. I mean, in a way, it's like perpetually running for office. You know, you're shaking hands, you're kissing babies. I'm getting a little confused in my age. Occasionally, I shake babies and kiss hands. But basically, what my point is, it's like you're in a public relations job that they didn't train you for in drama school.
There's no training for that.
None. But I can. I mean, I know I'm speaking for Kevin. We're so grateful for the support that you give us.
Yeah.
I mean, I said to my kids, I said, you know, those fans are more supportive than you guys. Because, you know, they've heard all my stories. They're sick of me.
No, when you come to Comic-Con, you hear so many incredible stories from people about what the shows meant to them as children, or how it helped them escape a difficult family life or a difficult upbringing. I hear such passionate stories, and to be associated with that, to have your work be associated with that, I know, I speak for both of us, we're so grateful. We're very grateful to be a part of
He
it.
was talking about how he had 8 years of horrid child abuse, and you know, he said, you know, so when I watched Empire Strikes Back and found out about your family's situation, it kind of cheered me up. See, no matter how bad your family is, the Skywalker family, much more effed up. Oh my God. And it goes on. How about that nephew of mine? Oh boy. It never ends. They never call, they never write. And then they go and join the Sith. It's awful. Oh my God. With the red lightsaber. You don't need a handle on that thing. You'll put your eye out. How many times you got warned by your parents you'll put your eye out? Mom, I'm playing with silly putty. But come to the shell. You put your eye out with the shell. All right. Next question.
Question over here. Yes, so I was wondering if behind the scenes, just for fun, you guys have ever reversed voice roles. Which is to say, Kevin Conroy to play the Joker. And
Yeah, we should do a mind meld episode. They, if they thought of it, it'd be a good idea.
That would be fun. I could never joke like you.
I try and practice. You're sort of Harrison Fordy in a way. Resonance in your voice. It's great. It's like a good neck massage. And he would always, Batty. I love it.
Okay, we have a question over here.
He sells himself short. He could do a great Joker. I know it. He's a great actor.
Kevin, I'm sorry to go with this question. I love you. I mean, you don't, no disrespect, but Luke was my first childhood hero, so I have to ask this of Mark. Mark, I've heard you said before that when Star Wars came out, it was completely, the reaction was completely, it took you by surprise, took everyone by surprise. No one expected it. Now that you've had almost 40 years to...
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm 40 also.
You don't feel old, dude.
I'm 40 also. Now that you've had almost 40 years, I'm sorry. I feel like I have foot and mouth disease right now. But
I'm going to rest during the question.
What do you think it was about the Star Wars franchise that appeals to the masses and why it's endured for this very long?
I don't think the appeal is that much different than the Batman comics. I mean, they are morality tales. It's good versus evil. And it goes back to like the fairy tales that we saw in the movies, Snow White and all that. I mean, it's clearly aimed at the young.
Mythology.
Yes, exactly. Mythology.
It's like Greek mythology. It's classic literature. They're morality plays.
Yes.
They're all morality.
Very optimistic. I mean, I think the message of selflessness and doing what's right for the greater good rather than thinking about yourself, which applies to what Bruce Wayne does. So, I mean, it works on a primal level, I think. But I think the Mafia pressure helped in the early years. Get it into theaters. Hey, there's a space movie. Be ashamed if you didn't play it in your theater. Who knows? If you spin the roulette wheel, if you spin it enough times, you're just going to hit your number. And we just got lucky where all the elements came into place. Same with the animated series. Because, I mean, when I read that first script for Heart of Ice, I went, wow, this is really melancholy and deep, where your empathy is with Dr. Freeze, Victor Freeze, trying to work on a solution, a cryogenically freeze his wife because she's got a terminal disease. I thought, this is far from Super Friends.
Well, that comes back in Sub-Zero.
Yes.
Sub-Zero, you get into that too.
Right.
We got a question over here.
What is thing that's happened on set, like when you're recording?
On set, weird.
Well, it wasn't.
Oh, it was weird. Were you there the day of the LA riots? Were you in that recording?
I was when we were in Silver Lake.
Yes.
Yes, and I called and I said, there's not going to be a recording today, right? Because, I mean, the city was on fire.
The city was on fire.
And broken glass.
I called my agents. I said, this can't be happening. He's like, yep, you've got a booking. You've got a booking.
I live in Malibu, out at the beach, so I said, I'm going to have to allow for, I went almost 3 hours early.
3 hours.
So I left at like 11 for a 2 o'clock or something. And I got there within 10 or 15 minutes when I was supposed to be there.
And everyone else in the city was going the other way, right?
Yeah, I went, I stayed off the freeways and tried to go Surface Street, although Ventura Boulevard had all the broken glass and so forth. I might be getting confused with the earthquake too. All I know is when I finally got to Silver Lake, the receptionist looked up to me and goes, "What are you doing here?" I said, "What are you talking about? There's a Batman recording today." She goes, "Oh no, that's been canceled." Are you kidding me?
We started. But every time the door opened, smoke would come into the room. Because the studio was near the fires, the riots. And people started panicking. And
That's right.
smoke was coming in, it was getting more and more smoke. And finally, Andrea said, look, no one can concentrate. You all got to go home. Get out of here.
Really?
So I said, what did you bring us here? What did you bring us here?
Yeah, see, I'm confusing now. I was talking about after the Rodney King verdict, there was riots.
Yeah.
Then there was the earthquake, the Northridge earthquake.
No, I was talking about the LA.
And then the fire.
Rodney King.
I know. See, in Los Angeles, I mean, the next story will be about locusts coming. We couldn't get there. It's all biblical in origin. All right?
Now, one question here. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think y'all played an iteration where either of y'all have killed each other, Batman and Robin. Do y'all think y'all's character would finally kill each other? Or y'all be locked in eternal combat forever?
It's hard to understand you.
My bad, I'm kind of nasally finding some. Would y'all's characters finally kill each other? Batman and Robin. I mean, Batman and Joker.
That's the whole question at the end of The Killing Joke, is whether Batman does kill him.
Yeah, and listen, like I say, when I was on Wikipedia this morning, I read there's a inference that Joker rapes Barbara. Now, but I didn't listen. I certainly didn't play that at all. Another element that I thought that's crazy is that they imply. Someone said that Joker gives Commissioner Gordon LSD before he takes him on that crazy. Ray Wise does a great job as Gordon, but again, I thought, how much of this is actually in the text?
I'm going to step backstage for a second.
Sorry, all right. Well, listen, now we can really talk about it. I want to tell you, this guy is the biggest pain in the ass. Thank God I can finally be candid. I never get booked on these by myself. And I was the one that said, hey, Kevin, drink lots of liquids. Drink it all morning, because, no, all right. No, we'll do another question.
Hi, Mark, my question is for you. Since you're such a big Batman fan, aside from the Joker, do you have another favorite villain or particular character from a storyline?
Hey, you. Come on up. You made it? Listen, I thought Clayface would be interesting because he's like 500 different characters. Hey, the gang's all here. There we go. This is Millie, and this is Mabel. They're both rescue dogs. Look, this one was on death row. She's part puppy, part Muppet. She's a puppet. And Muppet. No, yeah, Clayface, because he's so versatile. He can be anything you want. Then you get to do a variety of voices depending on who you're posing as. That's just off the top of my head. I hope that will suffice. All right.
Hi, I have a question. I would like to know what would happen if Luke Skywalker met the Joker.
Luke Skywalker met the Joker?
Yeah.
Wow, I wonder if he could use Jedi mind tricks to sort of mellow out the Joker. Who knows? Everyone wants to know that, you know? Who would win in a fight, Darth Vader or the Joker? I don't know.
Thank you. Thank you for coming to the lifelong.
What are the imponderables in life? What do you think would happen? You probably have thought of giving this way too much thought.
I think he's trying to come down with his lightsaber.
Captain Marvel with a question?
Actually, Blink Man.
Oh, I'm sorry. Again, the lights are right in my eyes. Oh, of course you are.
Yeah, that's most original.
No, I kid. Why? Because
That's the most original character someone has actually called me. I've been called a Ninja Turtle or Mr. Incredible, which I am. Anyway, I really wanted to ask this question this past Friday when you had your panel. And I think it's one of the most important questions that my friend wanted to ask you. What shampoo does Luke Skywalker use in The Force Awakens?
Do you remember what shampoo we were using? Like this morning, I used whatever shampoo was in the shower at my hotel. I don't know what this thing is about, you know, because they do the thing where you take the hood down and maybe it's Maybelline or they do L'Oreal parodies. I mean, you never know how people are going to react to these things. I didn't think my hair was so perfect, but you know, because it was long, but I had a piece that went like here. That the shoulder length hair was, you know, a matched to my real hair. But I don't remember. Do you remember what shampoo we had? What kind? Come here, Chelsea. Here's your chance for the spotlight. This is my youngest daughter, Chelsea. Sorry.
This is my favorite car.
There you go. I'm sorry, Mark.
But it was Bumble and Bumble, and then like Charles something from England that they would use on set for you.
Okay.
And if they're listening, maybe they'll send us a free case. Yeah. Mel Brooks was on The Tonight Show one time, and he talked about how much he loved Raisinets. And they sent him cases and cases. The Raisinets, Mel Brooks just mentioned on the show, he says, it's the perfect candy. It's got fruit in the middle, it's covered with chocolate. You know, Mel, he just goes off. Yeah, exactly. And the companies sent him like a case a month for a year.
Oh my God.
I know. When I met him, I said, you should have talked about Mercedes-Benz. pick your product, buddy.
But performers from that generation are so wonderful. Like Carl Reiner, when he came in. Carl Reiner came in for a Justice League Action episode. And he's like 92? And he came in and it was like a lesson. He was giving us a lesson in voiceover. It was incredible.
Oh, he could do anything.
He was editing himself as he recorded. And he was re-recording as he went before the director could say anything. He was doing the director's job for him.
Well, you know, people forget the Dick Van Dyke Show. If you haven't seen it or you can get it on disc. It's one of the greatest sitcoms ever written, and largely because of Carl Reiner. It's the story of his life. He was a young writer on your show of shows,
right?
So he said, "What piece of real estate do I occupy that nobody else does when I'm writing a pilot? I'm a young comedy writer. I worked with an egocentric, larger-than-life Sid Caesar. So, and you know, he played Alan Brady. He's a wonderful actor. And Alan Brady wasn't supposed to be really seen. In the first season, you know, he's from behind in the barber chair, or he's on the massage table. But they realized we've got to get him on the show. And Carl played the role, and brilliantly. It's Dick Van Dyke, Mary Tyler Moore, one of the all-time. I feel so old now because people say, "What's your favorite sitcom?" And I go, "Sergeant Bilko." And it's just like this. They go, "Is that horrible movie with Steve Martin?" I go, "No, it's Phil Silvers." We're losing them. They're walking out in droves. See, serves me right for talking about Sergeant Bilko. All right, let's talk about Batman. Oh, it's over. It's over?
No, you can stay.
I'm so glad we had this time together. Just to have a laugh or sing a song. Seems like we just got started before the time comes to say, you know the words? So long. Good night, everybody! He's been drinking, I can tell. I promised you I'd be Clark Gable this time. I wasn't last time. Thanks, everybody.